It's one main resource with all sorts of connections when it comes to getting people help with everything from jobs to keeping the lights on, diapers, and so much more. So, as you can imagine, COVID-19 has many turning to Greater Ottawa County United Way even more. Join us this morning to talk more about this and how they're handling it and how we all can help is Patrick, president of the organization. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to have you. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about what has your COVID-19 response been like?
Yes, it was kind of an amazing time because we said to ourselves, this is normally the end of our campaign. COVID hit right at the end of our celebration time. And we knew we had to ramp it straight back into gear. So we went to our partners. We went to actually 2 local community foundations and said, I know we're all going to be working hard for this thing. We thought it was maybe a couple of weeks. And we said, let's do it together. So we joined together, and over that next 10 weeks, we actually raised $900,000 together and over 400 volunteers to help people in our community respond to the needs they were having.
That is fabulous. So let's share, if you don't mind, some of those impact stories that are floating around out there that really kind of have all the feels to them.
Yes, and there were so many stories. And at first it was all emergency stuff. And then as time went, it became more long-term stuff. But 2 of my favorite stories, one, there was a couple, they were both laid off. They worked in different places, but they were both laid off. They both qualified for unemployment, but one of them, for some reason, their unemployment wasn't arriving. And it was just a mistake, but it was a mistake that lasted 4 weeks. So they were a family of 4, 2 little kids, and their income was down to about 40% of what it normally was. So we were able to step in as a coalition and provide food, provide gas cards, make sure their prescriptions were covered, help them with their utilities, all of the things that they would normally have been paying for out of their regular work. We were able to help them with. We were able actually even to help them with some fun food cards so they could have fun family nights with the kids.
It's so important.
It is, and if you think about how many people that affected, how many stories like that there were, it was everywhere. But they weren't all like that. One of my favorite stories was an elderly shut-in lady, somebody who we would been serving before, called one of our volunteers in an emergency, somebody who'd already dropped off food to this shut-in, called her with a terrible emergency, said, you got to call me back, it's really, really urgent. My volunteer was at work. She called her as soon as she got out of work, and it turned out that this lady had run out of toilet paper and wasn't able to get out and get any. So within 30 minutes, my volunteer was at the store, picked up some toilet paper, managed to actually find some, and then dropped it off to her. And the safety of that feeling of being able to have toilet paper in your house. But the ripples of that was all of her neighbors were in the same boat. So this volunteer for the next 3 nights was shuttling all of these necessary personal items back and forth to this little community of seniors in our world.
And what kind of challenges are you thinking about in the future when it comes to the result of COVID?
Yes, and unfortunately, we wish the flattening of the curve, we wish that the closure or the opening back of our community was the end of the problem. But really, for so many people, the ripples are going to go on forever. Right now, one of the biggest things we're worried about is eviction diversion. So it wasn't, no one was allowed to be evicted during the COVID crisis, but now those evictions are coming due. And all of those payments for that deferred rent are coming due. So we actually have staff from our Lakeshore Housing Alliance at the eviction courts. Those days in the courts doubled to be able to handle it. So we have people actually there, right there at the courthouse, trying to provide services, trying to provide resources and finances and legal aid so that people can stay in their homes while they catch up with those missed payments.
And what is the Community Recovery Challenge all about?
It really is, and the ripples is only part of it. The Community Recovery Challenge really gets to the fact that all of the stuff we do all year long, it's all still there. All of those needs, that access to healthcare, that tax preparation support, that mental health, the counseling for the kids, the get kids ready for school, all of that work that we were doing before COVID, it's still there. So we're trying with the with the Community Recovery Challenge, we're trying to fund the holes that are created by COVID, but also look forward to those other things that we're going to have to do, like that eviction. So we have a wonderful group of donors who've given us a $300,000 match. that if in the next 8 to 10 weeks we can raise $300,000, they'll match it dollar for dollar and double everybody's gifts.
Fantastic. And we had all the details there on the screen for everybody to go ahead and text in their donation. You text Give Today to 40403 or go to OttawaUnitedWay.org/recovery. We'll have all those details on our website later today. Thanks so much for your time, Patrick.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
For sure.